Hi, Cancer. Welcome to your April 2021 Astro Update. It's Rena here. And I was just thinking about Cancer and what Aries means to you, because as the month begins, we have a lot of energy in Aries. Not really surprising, given the fact that it's that time of year, but still, there's going to be a new moon in April. We don't always have new moons in Aries in April. Sometimes they're in March. So a lot happening. As the month begins, the sun is in Aries. We have Venus in Aries. And on the third of the month, Mercury goes into Aries. So for you, Cancer, we have another cardinal sign, Aries. And Aries is your 10th house of career. So this is a very prominent area in your chart, one of the angular houses. And the reason that you should sit up and take notice is because other people may be sitting up and taking notice of you. This is your public arena, the place where you showcase your talents, your success in the world. And this is where your reputation stems from. So, it's your career sector, so that alone. And so with the sun there, you may be like enjoying some kind of success, or that feeling of really being on top of your game. Venus here can give you a lot of favor from people in positions of authority. Authority figures are 10th house. And even money can be 10th house. Can be Venus. And in the 10th house, that could mean a raise, or that could mean money from your father. If you see the 10th house as the father, some say the mother for some bizarre reason. And perhaps meeting a love interest through your career, your job, but that line of work of yours. And with Mercury there, you may be talking to people in positions of authority. Let's say you're interviewing and things like that, or maybe you're doing some kind of public speaking where you're speaking to people and you have that audience. On the 11th, there's a new moon in this sector, so new opportunities, maybe a new direction for some of you, 22 degrees of Aries. On the 14th, Venus goes into Taurus. So halfway through the month, Venus goes into the 11th house. This is a friendly angle to Cancer called sextile, and or sextile, whatever you want to say. And this can indicate a lot of socializing, a lot of popularity among your social network. You could find love through friends. This is also the house of group associations, or we could call it, civic. I don't know. They have another term for it. I can't remember. Organizations or something else. I can't remember. But just in general, any kind of group that you belong to, that you share an interest, like a club or something like that. And it's also the house of hopes and wishes. So again, every house that Venus transits through, and you could say this also of Jupiter, there can possibly be a money angle where you manifest money for a long-held goal of yours. The traditional astrologers called this the luckiest house. And so certainly if we talk about financial stuff, that would apply, that there's something lucky about receiving money. On the 19th, on the 19th, Mercury goes into Taurus. So Mercury goes into that very social area, and the sun as well. So that's a date where you have 2 transits of personal planets into this area. Now, one thing to note with you, Cancer, is that you also have Uranus in Taurus. So this is a big area for you at the moment. In the latter half of April, where you have how many planets? Like 4? At least 4 are transing this area that is of the collective, okay? And it's also the house of technology. That's another thing I should have mentioned with the 11th house. So Uranus is actually the ruler of Aquarius, so it's a ruler of this house. And so that has that double influence attached to it. And so some of these groups may be kind of a far out nature. Maybe they're online. The internet is connected to the 11th house. So there might be a big emphasis on the internet for whatever reason, maybe even career related. But with Venus here, maybe you meet somebody from online dating, something like that. On the 23rd, Mars goes into your sign, Cancer. Wow. And, before I was doing this, I was thinking about how does Mars fare in Cancer? And I was thinking, the more I think about it, the more I think that Cancers are pretty feisty, And I think one reason is that you are cardinal signs. So, even though you're a water sign and sometimes Cancers can be quite reticent, there are other times when you're actually a little bit aggressive from my experience. And it can be with matters of the heart in particular that this, manifests, but it still can be something that is a bit amusing because there are other times when you may be very, passive or just kind of reticent to assert yourself. So I guess it depends on what mood you're in. But this Mars is the god of war. So, and it's also our anger, how we handle anger. So when Mars is in our sun sign, or if you're listening for your rising sign, if it's in your first house, it can be a time when you are physically much more active, where you feel this sense of energy, and you want to express it physically because the first house can be the body. And also, even on the, I was going to say the emotional level, but that doesn't sound right either. But just in terms of promoting yourself, that can certainly be the case as well, where you're much more assertive. So if you are looking for a job, I mentioned about that career stuff happening earlier in the month. And, actually, these transits are not, this is happening later in the month on the 23rd that Mars even goes into Cancer. But depending on your individual chart, you may have some of those planets still in the 10th house at that time. It all depends on your individual chart. So Mars can give the person a bit of confidence or bravery, and that can make you, even if you're kind of shy or, not somebody that really kind of asserts yourself usually, that you might have a lot more tendency to do so, but also on the other side of the equation might have a little bit of aggression. There's a difference between assertiveness and aggression. Aggression is more in your face and not really taking into account another person, being kind of pushy, So that's one of the things that you always have to look at, and I, sometimes I'm sure all of you have said to yourself, what got into me? Or, why did I, if you're typically not like that. So just keep that in mind, but it can be helpful, for career matters and things like that. And even for, I was going to say affairs of the heart, if you're a single person and you tend to be, like male or female, you tend to be a little bit leery of dating, meeting new people, maybe you're shy or something like that, you can be a lot more assertive. And that can mean the difference between possibly meeting somebody and not meeting somebody. So that can actually be a good thing. But physically too, feeling a lot more energetic and then wanting to exercise, perhaps more than usual. On the 26th, we have a full moon at 7 degrees of Scorpio, fellow water sign. And so this is on the other side of the chart for you, which is, it's a trine, and it is the 5th house for you. For some of you, maybe the majority of you, will actually fall in the house that you rule, the 4th house of home and family. But certainly early degree cancers, this will fall in your 5th house. And based on somebody like special that you may have met, with that Venus activity, you may, have some kind of epiphany that this person is the right person for you. This can also be very fertile time for creative types, because the 5th house can be creativity, and some kind of artistic endeavor can come into fruition, or you could complete it. And for the rest of you that falls in your 4th house, this can be like maybe closing a chapter with some emotional issue that stems from your childhood. Sometimes, the full moon might give you like an epiphany. And in this house, being a water house and being the house of the past, it can help you to connect the dots with something that maybe has plagued you, that has to do with, how you were raised. I mean, this could be your family of origin, issues with them. And the other thing too is, this could be real estate. So if you're selling a home, for instance, this could be the time when it finally gets sold. So anyway, that's what I have for you, Cancer. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, there are all kinds of readings that I offer. I do have double readings, which are at a special price, and they are much more comprehensive, like, a natal chart interpretation plus a tarot reading. That's the whole enchilada. And then I have like a deep dive reading, which is like a full-length natal chart, a full-length transit reading for a special price. And of course, my other readings. Please click on the link below if you're interested. Thanks for listening. Take care. Bye.